Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots, they named Cam Newton starting quarterback. Come as no surprise to me, but they named him the starting quarterback for the New England Patriots. So, what are your expectations for Cam Newton now that he's been named the starting quarterback for the Patriots in Week 1?
I think the expectation from him is like he got to show, he has something to prove. Like he has something to prove to all of us around the NFL, like to show that he's still that elite quarterback in this NFL. Now I will say this though, Tre, he's playing for something that he's playing for. I feel like for me, he's playing for another extension. He's showing everybody that he's still a winning quarterback, and he's Cam Newton, someone that's always been excited around this league. He's always been excited. I mean, we're talking about the 2015 NFL MVP that actually took the Panthers to a Super Bowl. Like that's the Patriots fans should be excited of what they're getting out of him. His hard working, his smartness, his smartness towards the game, and I expect them to ball. I'm never gonna speak on someone bad like I want him to drastically fail. I don't want him to fail, but I want him to ball. I knew he was gonna win the job because everybody, his teammates, his peers, they love him. They love the energy that he brought to the table. And Bill Belichick stated he's the first one in and he's the last one out. He's the most hardworking player he ever worked with. And I just think all that's gonna pay off in this season.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say that yesterday when this news came down and it was considered breaking news, I got news for you. It wasn't breaking news. We've been knowing that Cam Newton was going to be the Week 1 starter for the New England Patriots the day he signed with the New England Patriots. Okay, Brian Hoyer, Jared Stidham, give me a break. Stop it. I told you from the get-go, Clarence, that Cam Newton would be the Week 1 starter, and it wasn't a secret. I don't know why Bill Belichick announced it to the media like it was supposed to be some breaking news. We already knew it. But you know what? Bill Belichick didn't fool me because what he did was he tried to play mind games with the media and other teams because he wanted to pretend as if there was a quarterback competition. There was never no quarterback competition in New England. Once Cam Newton decided to sign with the New England Patriots as a free agent, we knew he was going to be the Week 1 starter. It was just only a matter of when it was going to happen, not if. Now, when it comes to my expectations for Cam Newton in his Week 1 matchup, they played the Miami Dolphins in Week 1. It's a home game, for the New England Patriots. But we know the Miami Dolphins, they are an opponent that knows the Patriots very well.
I agree.
But I expect Cam Newton to play well in that Week 1 matchup, and I expect Cam Newton to actually play well this season, Clarence. I think Cam Newton is going to rejuvenate his career, and I think he's going to play at an MVP level. I really, really do. I think he's going to show those doubters out there who've had their questions about whether or not he still can play. He's going to show them, not only can I still play, I can still lead a team to a possible playoff berth. I told you before the season started, and before we even started getting into our NFL talk heavy, I told you a while ago, I got the Patriots winning the AFC East because I don't believe in the other teams in the division. I like the Miami Dolphins and the culture that they're building. You know what I mean? I like the fact that they got Tua now on their roster. I think Tua has a promising future as a future franchise quarterback in the NFL. I like Tua. I think he's going to have a better career than Joe Burrow. But I don't think Tua's ready. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to get the Week 1 start against the Patriots. Do I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to lead the Miami Dolphins to the playoffs? I do not. Now, when you look at the New York Jets, I think the Jets are a mess because I don't believe in Adam Gase. I told you this before. I don't think Adam Gase really deserves to be a head coach in the NFL. When he was the coach of the Miami Dolphins, he had one playoff appearance, and he didn't even have a winning record as head coach of the Miami Dolphins. I don't know how the hell he even got the New York Jets football job to begin with. I don't know how he got the job. It makes no sense to me. And then when you look at the Buffalo Bills, I do like the Bills. I like Josh Allen as a quarterback. But am I going to trust Josh Allen and McDermott over Cam Newton and Bill Belichick? I think not. I'm going to trust Cam Newton, an MVP caliber quarterback, and a Super Bowl winning head coach in Bill Belichick, arguably the greatest NFL head coach in history. I'm going to trust Belichick and Cam over McDermott and Josh Allen. Therefore, my expectations for Cam Newton this year are high because I think they're going to win the AFC East.
Oh, see, when you define high expectations, what do you expect in them expectations? What? MVPs, AFC North, AFC East?
I think Cam Newton has an opportunity to be in the MVP conversation. I'm not going to. Yes, I believe it. I'm not going to say he's going to win it. I'm not going to say he's going to win it because I know how great Patrick Mahomes is and Russell Wilson. But I think he's going to be a dark horse for MVP this year, and I think he's going to lead the New England Patriots to the AFC East crown. They're going to win the division this year, Clarence. I'm saying it today. Friday, September the 4th, the Patriots will win the AFC East. You can book it.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this. So, if they win their division, they're going straight to the playoffs. So, you basically ain't finishing your whole statement. So, they're going to win the division, and he's going to lead them to a playoff berth. That's what you basically saying.
Yes, but I don't think they're going to be a top 2 seed in the AFC. I think they'll host a home playoff game in the AFC wildcard week. I'm not saying they're going to be like a 1 or 2 seed. That's not going to happen when you got Lamar. I don't think it's going to happen because you got Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. They're coming back. They're the reigning AFC North champions. He's the reigning NFL MVP. He's going to come back this year with a vengeance because they came up small in the AFC divisional round against the Titans. So I think Harbaugh and Lamar Jackson are going to be ready this year. I also believe Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they're going to be a top 2 seed in the AFC. Therefore, I think Cam Newton and the Patriots, they'll be like a 3 or 4 seed and they'll host a playoff game in the first round in the wild card.
Hey, I like this topic that you brought up about Cam Newton starting. And I wanted to go to another team that was having quarterback battles too, if you don't mind. So earlier today, I seen Chicago are choosing Mitchell Trubisky to start week one, and I wanted to ask you, is this the best decision? Do you believe that the Chicago Bears should start Mitchell Trubisky over Nick Foles in week 1?
You know what? I'm probably going to surprise you here. I would say yes. And here's the reason why. This is a put up or shut up year for Mitchell Trubisky. It's time for Mitchell Trubisky to show whether or not he's worth being your future franchise quarterback. Because you got to think about it, Clarence. They chose this guy and traded up to get him over Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. Let that sink in for a second. Let's take a moment. Let's take a moment of silence for 5 seconds and think about what they did. They traded up to get Mitchell Trubisky over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes obviously has an MVP on his resume, a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. And we know Deshaun Watson, he has great promise as a future quarterback for the Houston Texans. I think Deshaun Watson is going to win a Super Bowl before his career is over with, Clarence, at some point. I think he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL as far as I'm concerned. And they traded up in the draft and missed out on Watson and Mahomes for Trubisky. Now, listen, the first year Trubisky actually had a good year, and he led the Bears to the NFC North title. They came up short in the playoffs. You remember? They actually lost to Nick Foles and the Philadelphia Eagles by like 1 point, I believe. But he had a nice first season. But last year, Clarence, he was terrible. He was terrible last year.
Terrible.
And that's being nice. Like, it was throws last year where he was very inaccurate. He was just an inconsistent passer. So I think this is a put up or shut up year for Mitchell Trubisky. And if he doesn't get it done, I think Matt Nagy and the Chicago Bears should seriously consider trying to find another quarterback to lead that franchise.
See, I agree with that. I agree with you on that because he was literally dead last in every position at the quarterback. I mean, yards per play, yards per throw. I mean, touchdown interception ratio. It wasn't that good. He had rookie numbers still. He had rookie numbers that looked ridiculous from a guy that's not a rookie no more. And believe it or not, I feel like this is the best decision for the Chicago Bears to go after. Like, it's good that you start Mitchell Trubisky over Nick Foles because Nick Foles is not your typical quarterback that can be a week 1 starter. And don't get me wrong. He started in this league before. He actually set the record for most for the highest QBR in the season. And I think he said it there, or highest completion. He's still a good insurance quarterback. I'm gonna say that. He's great insurance. He's great insurance for you. But Mitchell Trubisky, it's do or die this year, man. They didn't pick up your 5th-year option, and they basically throwing to you like you have to work for your money to get that extension. And I think that if all the pieces around him come together and actually say, Mitchell, we want you to lead us, I think that will give him a little more confidence in having a great season. But he has that self-confidence in himself. I mean, he's literally a dual threat quarterback, so he can run and throw. So that's a plus right there. He can take a lot of hits. That's 2, but 3, you just gotta perform in big games. That's my concerns about him performing in big games, and they got the defense to back it up, but they need him to step up to the plate.
Yeah, that's one of the main issues I have with the Chicago Bears, because throughout the years, the Chicago Bears, they've never had an elite quarterback. They've always had great defenses, Clarence. They've always had defenses that can get stops. I'm thinking about, Brian Urlacher. I'm thinking about Lance Briggs. They've always had elite defenses that always got stops, but they never had an elite quarterback. And now you got Khalil Mack, who's one of the best defensive players in the NFL. You have some playmakers, offensively, Cohen and Robinson. You got some playmakers that you can get the ball to, but you need a quarterback that can throw the ball consistently, accurately down the field. And that's one of the issues that we have with Mitchell Trubisky. I remember last year, they were talking about Mitchell Trubisky and how frustrated he was because in the Chicago Bears facility, they had multiple TVs on in the facility.
Yeah, I remember that.
He was getting upset because all of the critics were criticizing him about his play, and he wasn't too happy about it. Well, my thing is, and what I would tell Mitchell Trubisky is, be more mentally stronger for your team, Mitchell, because as a quarterback, not only do you have to lead with your play on the field, you have to lead in the locker room. You have to be mentally strong to be successful at that position. And I think that's where Mitchell Trubisky struggles at. Because if you're letting the media critique you and it's shaking your confidence as a player, that means you're mentally fragile. You're not really strong enough to keep your team on the right path when adversity hits. I expect my franchise quarterback to be able to handle criticism from the media, Clarence. That's what it takes to be successful as a franchise quarterback. When you look at these young franchise quarterbacks in the NFL, I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson. What they've shown is they have an ability to weed out and kill all the noise from the outsiders and also perform well within the lines. That's what you got to be able to do. And the fact that Mitchell Trubisky was complaining about the media and TVs being on the Bears facility showed me that mentally he's fragile and he's weak. I expect him to improve on that this season if he wants to be the Bears' future franchise quarterback.
That's great. Hey, can we go to one more team? One more team, and we can move on to the next level.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Tyrod Taylor is pronounced the starter for the LA Chargers against against the Cincinnati Bengals. Do you believe that Justin Herbert should have been the starter instead of Taylor?
No, I do not. I think they made the right decision here. I'm going to give Coach Lynn, the benefit of the doubt here and say that they made the right decision. I think Tyrod Taylor should be the week 1 starter. I don't think Herbert is going to be ready, to be this week 1 starter. So therefore, I think Tyrod Taylor is a good placeholder until Justin Herbert can get up to speed, learn the offense, go through his mechanics, his progressions. I think he should have the job until Tyrod Taylor either, plays bad or until he's shown that he's ready to take over. We know that Justin Herbert is the future quarterback of the Chargers moving forward. I think he needs to take some time to learn behind a nice veteran like Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is never to be confused with elite. He's not on the level of Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, but Tyrod Taylor is a nice starter in the NFL. He's not great, but he's a nice starter in the NFL, and he's a game. I'll say he's a game manager. He's a game manager. So he's average. So I believe he's someone that Justin Herbert can learn from. So I think they made the right decision and postponing him being the day one starter.
I agree, man. I think for Anthony Lynn, he didn't see a lot of confidence in Justin Herbert for him to say he's the starter of the LA Chargers team. I truly believe that he was more comfortable with making Tyrod Taylor the starter because Tyrod doesn't have a lot of turnovers, cause a lot of turnovers. And we watch Tyrod Taylor play. Like you said, he's a game manager. He's someone that is not gonna shock you or, oh, look at this explosive play that Tyrod about to do. He's one of them guys that's managing the game. He's gonna throw decent amount of yards and lead you down maybe for a field goal, meaning more likely a field goal than less than a touchdown. But this process, how I look at it, I think Anthony Lynn, he wants Justin Herbert to learn the playbook more and gain more confidence into himself. So when he does have the confidence, he can be able to make that quarterback swap. But I think this is the best decision for Tyrod because Tyrod, he's used to these situations. It was the same situation in 2018 when he was with the Cleveland Browns. He couldn't even move the field. He couldn't even move the ball down the chain. So I think this is the same exact situation that he's in right now. And until Justin Herbert get that confident with himself, then we're going to see Tyrod Taylor for a few games.
Yeah, and another thing, too, you got to take consideration. Anthony Lynn, he's actually in a position right now where he's coaching for his job. So he has to go with the safer choice at the quarterback position. And he can't wait on the development of Justin Herbert. By the time he waits on Justin Herbert being possibly developed, he's going to be out of a job. He has to go with the safer choice at quarterback. And obviously Tyrod Taylor, although he's not elite, he's a game manager, and he's proven that he can manage your team and at least get your team timely wins. Again, I think when you're an NFL coach, you have to take into consideration how long do you have until the organization is going to want to move on from you. I think Anthony Lynn has to go with the safer choice here, and that's obviously Tyrod Taylor, because Tyrod Taylor may help the Chargers win a few football games here and there. They'll be able to compete in the AFC West. They're not going to win the AFC West because Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are in that division, but they might possibly be able to get like a 7-9, 8-8 record. And I think because of the quarterback situation, I think that Chargers organization, they'll give Anthony Lynn another opportunity to coach for future seasons to come, knowing that he doesn't have a reliable starting quarterback just yet. He doesn't have no legit quarterback yet. Give him a bit of a doubt.